Yeah, so my first 72 hours of Red Onion was about, survival of the fittest and survival of the spirit. Like, that's how they, like, tested you and try to break you down before you even get into circulation or get into a mode. Um, so, like I say, finally I sat there in that room, happy, but also back confused. You wasn't so much confusion being locked in that cell. Like, this is where I'm at, this is going on. Now it's like confusion sitting back in, like depression ringing back up, anxiety stepping back up. You like, oh, I'm about to go to population now. Like, this serious. So you sitting there and I'm thinking like, shit, was I meant to exist anymore? Like, that's what they said. It just rings through your head. That's what they say. They send the ghost there. Like, it's over when you go there. Like, so finally the a CO come to my slot and let it down. Boom. Of course they always have to do the loudest and do the most. So um, I'm sitting up on the bed, so I come to the door, whatever. So he say my last name, um, wave to the officers in the booth, one behind the control, one there monitoring, one standing there with a shotgun or whatever, monitoring the situation, just waiting for any reason to shoot. They were so trigger happy back then. So finally, I'm going to population. I grab my little. They give us these little like cardboard boxes, to put your little property in, your commissary in there. So I got a cardboard box now that they had down on the little dolly cart for me. So I set my laundry bag inside of the box with my state number on the side of it, and it's me and one other guy. So after you put your property in there, you gotta go back to your cell. So I put my laundry back in there, go back up the stairs, go back to my cell. So the officer put the handcuffs on the front of me. This time, luckily, no feet shackles. So I got my burgundy scrubs on, white t-shirt, white boxers, white socks. That's all the issue there. And I go back to the cell, get cuffed up to the front, go back down. The other guy had to do the same thing, go back down. Um, Another officer came and threw a burgundy, like thin type, cloth type jacket over my shoulders, draped it over me, whatever. It's cold out there, it's biting outside. So then he escorted me to my first pod. So my heart thumping, like I'm all to pieces, like trying to keep it together. Like, there's no crying, no showing emotion. Like, you gotta hold your head. Like, the best way to deal with a situation like this is don't get in it. Stay out of the way. Like I'm telling you, like, stay away from anything that can land you behind them bars and them cuffs with that door slamming, like with that echo that like you will hear 20 years later. Like, I still see red. I ain't think about red. I ain't like it was yesterday. It was 20 odd years ago, 20 and some change. But anyway, gun owners going across the floor. We the only two dudes moving in Burgundy pushing our cart. And it's probably about, I don't know, 6, 8 officers. They always got a lot of officers escorting us across the yard. As soon as you get out through the yard, it's like just little cement paths and little slabs of dirt. Everything is dirt out there and concrete and steel. Like, that's it. You can see the mountains with the fog or the clouds real low all around the prison. Um, Barbed wire fences, like you can see it all. Walking across this cold yard, look like a graveyard. I don't know why they call it a prison, but we get to our first pod. But like I was about to say, as you walking through the yard, different towers out where they got guns, shotguns, rubber bullets, things like that, things that dispense gas, pepper spray, bullets, stuff like that. So get to my first pod over in B building, like can't describe that feeling. Like you feel like you gotta use the bad butterflies going crazy, like you nervous, which is crazy because I done been to jail receiving, which is a process, but every process different. Everyone got a different vibe, different like emotion. Like it's heavy. Like some of them, it's like you getting transferred to like hell, literally. Like you know this. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So I step in, the pod locked down. It's a lunchtime. It's about to be lunchtime. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning or so. The pod locked down or whatever. So we go through, guard following us through the top of the roof. They got a spot through the floor they can shoot down in the floor. We go through the metal detectors and stuff, go through the doors sliding. So after the big boom, you know it's real. Like we go in the pod, ain't no turning back. You got to keep walking, keep your head up. People banging on the door, yelling, different stuff like that. So I follow behind the CO as he motioned me to. My door slammed, boom, on the bottom sill or whatever. I got standing at the door looking out with a white t-shirt on, bald head. Now he don't resemble Michael Jordan, but he just got a glossy bald head, dark brown skin, whatever. Look like he play basketball as well, athletic as well. So I grab my box or whatever. The officer tell me this me, whatever. I grab my stuff, go in. By this time, they handed the officers that brought us over, handing us over to the floor officers, the people that run this building. So dude call my name, point, whatever. So I grab my box, go in. I'll never forget, man. He in there like listening, like he looked like an older dude. He like listening to music I listen to it, whatever. He got it playing through a little 5-inch TV or whatever. He got a writing pad on top of a chessboard, and I see the little flex pen. Look like he been in there writing letters. As I came in with the music playing or whatever, so he greet me or whatever, shake my hand, let me know he said he was from North Carolina. He got caught up in Williamsburg or whatever. And honestly, like he was straight just baffled and tripping off my age. He couldn't believe I was so young. He got on the door and called his homeboys and was telling them like he couldn't believe it. Like he thought it was illegal. He thought like was it a joke? Like they was trying to set him up type stuff. Like it was crazy. But knowing that, seeing him, I ain't really know him like that. But just his energy and just how he greeted me and the music, the vibe, seeing the black and miles in the ashtray. Once the officers left the floor, whatever, he offered me he was like, yo, you smoke what? I was like, yeah, I ain't supposed to, but I do though, man. I was like, well, I need it. It's been forever. So I smoked the black, and tell him about just basically like in receiving, man, we was smoking a lot of blunts, joints, whatever you want to call them. And I was just smoking hard cigarettes, like chain smoking cigarettes, and I tried to go to blacker miles, stuff like that. Then it typically was like whatever I can buy and trade off and get my hands on tobacco products, like I had to have it. So he was just like, man, I understand, I dig, man, you good, you welcome to whatever, man. And he just was baffled at my age. So, I just let him know what I was in for, how long I had. And he was like, blown away. And by the time we got to talking, he was bringing lunch around. So you got an inmate pushing a little cart around with a CO trailing behind him, sometimes two, depending on the shift. And he passing out every lunch. We got either cold cuts with some type of bologna type ham looking meat. It depends. Sometimes it's supposed to be bologna. It got like these little red and green pepper looking things. And sometimes it's supposed to be turkey bologna. Man, we don't know what it is. Sometimes it's supposed to be turkey ham, real ham. They give cheese sandwiches. Peanut butter mixed with apple butter was their favorite. Like that was their favorite. You might get a bag of veggies, um, a slice of cake, or you might get a little some type of knockoff type little Debbie cake. And they walk around with a cooler of juice. Everybody tell you don't drink that juice. So I never drank that juice ever. Um, it was horrible. You know what I'm saying? He went in his box. I said he had a little cardboard box. He got out a bag of chips or whatever, threw them to me and stuff. So you did whatever you could to try to, make the situation better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still a kid, like, but they don't care. Like nobody cares really. But you did have guys in there like myself, man, that felt, I don't know if it was compassion or empathy or sympathy. I don't know what it was that was like, this messed up. Like, and they in there with life sentences. My cellar at the time, I want to say he had like life plus 40. Yeah, like already been down like 15 years. He was there stabbing a dude. So it was like I was in there with them kind of individuals. And at the time, it was a lot of people there who had been down. Like it was a lot of guys there who was predators, sexual predators. Like, um, luckily I was in a pod. It was predators in there that or guys that indulged in homosexuality, or guys who would just stab people, or even fought the police officers and worked their way out of segregation. Or it was guys that just got caught up, attempted to escape for whatever, messing with a light, whatever, that'll get you sent there. It was just different levels of what you was there with. My pod was like a bunch of older dudes who was just trying to basically stay out of the way and get back down to what they call lower level, get back to a prison closer to home. But anyway, yeah, and my celly was one of them, man. And he worked out, had a routine. Yeah, he told me that by the time we got it kicking it in there about different stuff, talking, him explaining the routine to me, a little bit of what I heard, some stuff, he ain't exaggerate. I ain't gonna say it was exaggerated, but it was other dudes' point of views, but his opinions was a little different on stuff. And he basically told me, like, stay out of the way, man, get off of here, that's the ultimate goal. And that was a thing back then. Everybody there, it was like a graveyard. They seen ghosts there. Like, it wasn't keep your head down, stay out of the way so you can go home. It was stay out of the way so you can go to a better prison, a different prison, a little more freedom. That was the mentality. And we got to talking so much, music playing. He turned the little 5-inch color TV off. He hit his Walkman, started the music. He said it was real clean, organized and stuff. And he turned on 106 in Park, and I just got to tripping. And he was like, yo, I was like, man, it's just, he was an older dude, been down, and that ain't what you heard about them older type dudes. I can say all of them. Majority of them, a lot of them, they put in this class, they move a certain kind of way. Dude, you been down a minute, but he still was kind of hip, should I say, or, had a little swag with him, whatever. He made the best out of the situation in his life sentence, whatever. The thing about his situation is, he fell under the old law, so he was parole eligible. So, I can't remember exactly how much time he had been down when I ran into him, but he got convicted before they abolished parole in '96. So, yeah, he had to do time first. I forgot his exact number. He had to put in some time before he started going up for parole. So, and when I first went in there, he told me he was in there on a murder charge and stuff. And we ain't really talk much about it. Some guys will start talking about it. Once they start talking about family, whatever situations, then they might go a little bit into it. But some dudes don't talk about it. It all depends on the individual. But like, yeah, we chilled, chopped it up, watched 106 in Park reruns. They showed the reruns in the morning, around 11 or whatever. So we watched them talk more. He was in there writing a letter to his sister when I walked in. And he actually, he told her about me. He was flabbergasted. Like, he told her, like, oh, who they put in the cell, whatever. I smoked a black, watched TV while he kind of watched, but wrote and stuff or whatnot. And it was funny seeing him get on the door to call his homeboys and tell them, COs kept coming out the door tripping with me. He'll give me the rundown on stay all this way. They all racist, super racist, but you got some worse than others. But you know, some comes to the door, dude, alright. I lie on the bar. I let them use my free books at night and stuff. Like, oh, that's what's up. Damn, I ain't think them dudes break any rules or this. So I was just shocked to this whole situation. Like even hearing that. But majority of them, they was like hard all the time, like looking for trouble, nothing comforting, nothing like, you know, just waiting for a reason to use their toys on us, man. So, um, I finally made it a population at 16, not in the gang, had a life sentence, man, and a lot of choices to make.